Alright, time for homework 2. Alright, a bunch of matrices stuff. We got a little bit of multiplication going on. We got a lot of bit of multiplication. And then some addition there, okay? Time for number 1. You gotta do A times B first, because it's in the parentheses, and then times it by K. K in this case is 2. Okay, so let's do A times B. Remember, each row times each column. Okay, so you got 3 columns to times by each of these rows in A. So 6 times 1, right? Remember, first entries times each other. So 6 times 1 gives you 6. And then add 2 times 1. So add 2. And let's move on to the second row. So we're going to do row 1 times column 1, row 2 times column 1, and move on from there. Okay? 6 times positive 1 gives you 6. Add 0 times 1, which is 0. Moving on to the second column, so first row times the second column. 6 times negative 6 is negative 36. Add 2 times negative 2, which is negative 4. Moving on to the second row times second column. 6 times negative 6 gives you negative 36. 0 times negative 2 is 0, so add 0. And we're going to move on to the last column. 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. Add 2 times negative 6, which is negative 12. And we got second row times third column now. 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. Add 0 times negative 6, which is 0. And we're getting really close to being done. Remember, after we do all this, we have to times it all by k, which is 2. So you got 2 times 6 plus 2 is 8. 6 plus 0 is 6. Negative 36 plus negative 4 is negative 40. Negative 36 plus 0 is negative 36. Negative 24 plus negative 12 is negative 36. There's a lot of negative 36s going on. Negative 24 plus negative 0 is negative 24. And now we have to times it all by 2 to get 16, negative 80, negative 72, 12, negative 72, and negative 48. And this is k times A times B. Let's move on to A times C. So we got each row times each column. So you gotta do 6 times negative 5, which is negative 30. 2 times negative 3. Hold on, that should be 30. That's a 0. Plus 2 times negative 3, which is negative 6. And then, wait a second. We don't have a third thing here, but there's a third thing here. Okay? When you run into this, it's like an error, right? You can't do it. And when you run into this error, you actually cannot multiply those two matrices. Like, impossible. Okay? Can't be done. Cannot multiply those matrices. You can say not possible, impossible, can't be done, you know, whatever you want to write down. Typically you'll get like undefined. Undefined is a very mathy way of saying you can't do it. Okay? Let's move on to, we'll do number 3 in the next video.